All right. We are back here at Song of the Day, coming to you from the Rock Cave. I'm your host, Mark Pierce. It's Thursday, Thirsty Thursday. For those of you who are thirsty, it is Thursday. We've been off for a little bit here in the cave, and we're trying to churn these episodes out, doing the best we can. So much music going on these days right now, and I'm excited for today's episode and tomorrow's, as a matter of fact. That's right, 2 in a row. Who knows? Maybe we'll go for 3. We'll see. But what's going on with you guys? What's going on music-wise with everybody here? What are you guys listening to? I find I just dig into some of old stuff. There's just so much old stuff. And I was chatting with this guy, and he said, I'm guessing we were around the same age, and we were talking about punk music and all this stuff, because these guys were all into some pretty heavy stuff. They were into like Sepultura, they were into metal bands and stuff like that. But this guy also had this stuff. He was very well versed in punk, and but then he was like, I really like REM now. And I'm like, dude, I'm a huge REM fan. And he goes, and I forget what it was. There was this one, like a really early one, early one. I'm like, I think it was you're probably talking about their EP. And he was like, I don't know, something about boxcars or whatever. And I was like, yeah, that's the song. And anyway, I said, that's Chronic Town. That's their first EP. I got turned on to that in 1985 when I was a dishwasher at the Summers Inn, and a college student was playing it. And he's like, yeah. So it's so fun when you connect with people. And this other guy I was talking to was like, he's from Brazil, and he was like, yeah, I've seen, what did he say? He's like, I've seen all these bands live. And I was like, you've seen all these punk bands live, these metal bands live. That's crazy. He's like, yeah, because it's huge in Brazil. I can't remember. He said he saw Sepultura, or who else did he say he had seen? Anyway, it was just, it was some good stuff. But it was Bad Religion. He was like, yeah, I've seen Bad Religion a few times. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. But anyways, when you connect with people about the music that you like, that's really cool. But for today, I was reading music news, and there was a major release recently, and we're talking about the Replacements. And we did the Replacements recently. We did Hootenanny, which was a huge record. And I already talked about how I did not listen to the Replacements in the 80s or the 90s, for that matter, for the most part. And they're a late add to my musical repertoire, and I'm really digging their music. I like to think about how, would I have liked that music then? Because, then I was all mostly into synthesizers, 80s all the way, classic rock, and then my late 80s metal phase or whatever. But I don't know if you could throw this kind of music at me and have me be all right with it until now. And now, again, Hootenanny and Can't Hardly Wait. Just love that song. The first Replacement song I ever heard was on the Say Anything soundtrack, Within Your Reach, which I was blown away. I mean, Say Anything was late 80s, but it didn't make me run out and buy Replacements records. But that song, to this day, I love that song. But we're going to this record called Tim, which came out, I think it was 85, 86. And they put out a box set recently with 50 unreleased tracks for this album, Tim. Now, if you don't know the Replacements, they're this band, Paul Westerberg, you probably know that name, guitar player, singer, songwriter, Bob Stinson, Tommy Stinson. Tommy Stinson joined Guns N' Roses in 1998, and Chris Mars. These guys, they were on independent radio for a long time, independent label for a long time, and they were a mess of a band. I mean, total, complete mess. So much potential, but they just did not care. The alcohol, the drugs, anti-establishment, anti-everything, basically. They do shows, it would be complete chaos. They'd play all covers and not their own songs, or like start songs and then just not finish them. It was complete chaos. And when I read this great article, Elizabeth Nelson is her name, from the New Yorker. And she does a great summary about this release, and so I'm not going to steal anything from her, but maybe I can post that link below. But she does this quote. She does mention a quote from somebody out there in the universe who said that this band was the little engine that could but didn't fucking feel like it, and that pretty much sums them up. And we have some covers of some magazines where they said they were the band of the year in the 80s. I mean, they were just They're supposed to be a really big deal, and their music was a big deal, but they really didn't care. And their music was all over the place. They had really punk type music, heartfelt ballads, country-ish almost in a way, like that Austin country sound. Influences from all kinds of classic rock to like Slade, and all these things, right? So their music is just so good. And Paul Westerberg's voice in this particular record, it's that gravelly voice. It's so good. And when you read about this, they're saying this might be his perfect record with the band from beginning to end. And pretty amazing. They didn't they didn't last much. I'm out of practice. Last much longer. And then they put out Pleased to Meet Me in '87, which we'll talk about again in a second. And then Paul Westerberg, of course, went solo. And then he had those. He did a lot solo. But if you remember the single soundtrack, he did Dyslexic Heart and Waiting for Somebody. Those songs were great. But this particular record, Tim, was the major label debut on Sire Records. And this is a great record. I just I had never heard the whole thing until just this month. And I'm really digging these songs. Hold My Life, All By, Kiss Me on the Bus, Swingin' Party, which is more like a nod to like swing music. Yeah. Bastards of the Young, Here Comes a Regular. There's some great songs on here. I particularly liked Hold My Life and All By. And in this box set is their version of Can't Hardly Wait, because they were working on that during this record and they just couldn't get it. They knew they had something great, simple and great, but they couldn't get it. And listen to these versions in here. They've got an acoustic version, and then they've got the electric guitar version. That's what it was originally going to be, electric guitar. It's very, I like it, but the electric guitar gets replaced by horns for Pleased to Meet Me in '87, the next record, along with Alex Chilton. Those are the two songs off of that amazing record. But then there's a cello version where it's not guitar, it's cello. So they were just trying to figure it out. And you get to hear all these different versions of that great song, Can't Hardly Wait, which didn't come out till the next record, as I just said. But some really, really good stuff on here. And I think that it's worth listening to. You should check it out. You guys Replacements fans? I know some of you are. I mean, we've already talked about it. So I know there's people out there who are more versed in this band than I am. But all I can say is I am absolutely digging the music. And I guess I just wasn't ready. And now I'm ready. So bring on the Replacements. Song of the day. we're going to post some of those versions below there, but we'll do Hold My Life. We'll just do that one for Song of the Day today. So you're listening to the Replacements today on Thirsty Thursday. I come back with an 8-minute episode. You're welcome. And we'll be back again tomorrow for Octane Friday. So whatever you're doing today, hope it involves music. And as usual, I'll catch you on the flip side.